my name is Ashley, and I'm here to affirm the resolution that the USFG should pay student athletes. So I'm going to extend our arguments, and then I'm going to go ahead and refute theirs as my roadmap. Although the NAIG team did state that that students do get scholarships for playing sports in college, a lot of them, they do not receive a livable wage. Many students do get scholarships but do not get them in their hometown, so they are forced to move away from home and pay out of pocket for the remaining stuff they do need for school. We are suggesting that the USFG should pay a minimum wage depending on the state that which they live in. When we look at the numbers, it's only 1.3% of students who actually go pro. Ed O'Brien was a UCLA basketball star and MVP for the 1995 NCAA finals, who did not go pro. One day he went to his friend's house and realized that they were playing a basketball game. He soon realized that ESPN had made him as a character and thought that something should be done because ultimately this company is making money off of his name, according to a documentary called Should the NCAA Pay College Athletes? O'Brien said 15 years later they are still making money off his name. Now you might think, okay, they get scholarships and it pays for their tuition, so they truly don't need money. But let's go ahead and break that down. 21 reasons why student athletes are employees and should be paid. Is an article that was done in 2014. The typical Division I college football player devotes 43.3 hours a week. That is 3.3 more hours than an average American does for a 40-hour work week. In addition to its time spent in class, a full-time student takes 12 or more units in college. So that's about 4 classes a semester. 4 classes are, most classes are 4 hours a week for a total of 16 hours a week in class. Arthur Nelson Vicki, writer of Is Your College Student Investing Enough Time Studying?, states that students should spend approximately between 2 to 3 hours of studying for each class that they take. That means that student athletes are spending 32 to 48 hours studying every week. According to Smith Madeline, an author of How Much Sleep Do You Need?, adults from the ages of 18 to 64 need anywhere between 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep to function at their best. Now let's do a little bit of math. Out of 168 hours a week, if 43.3 are spent at practice and 16 are spent in class, 40 hours are spent studying or more, and 56 hours are them sleeping, assuming that they all get 8 hours a day. That leaves us with 12.7 hours left in a week for them to go ahead and work. That's not enough hours to work, and anybody that has a job knows that you can't live off 12 hours a week. This is why it must change. The NAIG says that they get better jobs. What we're going to talk about is that the NCAA free pass on its claim that it does give great service to all the athletes. Just because they are athletic does not mean that they all get good degrees. The reality simply is getting a degree doesn't necessarily cut it. The NCAA agreement ignores the fact that some degrees are worth more than others, and athletes are just getting the basic degree to go ahead and graduate and be able to be eligible for playing. So a lot of those degrees fall under sports training or health fitness instead of something like biology or any of the STEM categories. Not all sports receive full scholarships. There are only 6 sports that receive full rides to Division I schools. Those sports are football for men and women, football, men and women's basketball, women's tennis, women's volleyball, and women's gymnastics. Division II schools only get partial scholarships, and Division III schools do not receive any type of scholarships for their athletes. And they are left with taking out loans. And athletes are getting degrees, this is the title. Athletes are getting degrees, but does it actually necessarily mean anything? Done in 2014 by Kevin Theramore. Students are not getting better jobs just because they get a degree. The NAIG says that schools give out scholarships, but like I stated, the NCAA Division I and II do provide $2.9 billion in scholarships. And then, like I stated, that Division IIIs do not offer any scholarships, leaving the students to pay out of pocket. So this is why we should go ahead and pay student athletes at least a minimum wage, depending on the state that they live in.
Thank you.